How do, everyone? Welcome back to the Potty Mouth Garden Show. Yes, Garden Club, should I say. And my esteemed, by the knowledge from these three is just, this young fella here knows more about gardening JB than Monty, Don, and Titchmarsh put together.
The master gardener.
Yes.
I'm here.
Mind you, I did see, JB, you mentioned in our little kind of chat, you spent 11 hours at your allotment, and you didn't even realise.
Just complete accident.
How on earth can that? First up, why wasn't Jess going mad with you? Like, why wasn't your phone ringing off the hook? And how are getting a headache?
Yeah, she was a little bit like, she started messaging around 7 o'clock at night. Like, I thought you'd be home by now. And then next time I picked up the phone, it was like 8:30. I tell you what it was. I did a little bit of filming and like general allotment tasks, and then I started trying to make the doors for the polytunnel, the screen doors that I want to build. So they're like attacker proof and pest proof because I've got something attacking my crops. No idea what it is. So I wanted to build like a normal hinge door on the inside with like a screen mesh. 6 bits of wood. I had to cut and screw together 6 bits of wood. Somehow it took me about 4 hours. I could not have been a carpenter, I'll tell you that. I did have to like take it apart and put it back together halfway through because the dimensions are just slightly off. And I realised like in winter it's probably going to swell and it won't close properly. So I had to bring it in a bit. But yeah, that was sort of towards the tail end. And I'm so stubborn. I was just like, I have to finish this before I leave today. So it just dragged on and on and on. And then it was like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I really should go home now.
Do you sometimes, when you're doing like and you're recording it, do you think, I cannot really show this because it's too embarrassing?
That,
you know what I mean? It's just like...
I basically just recorded a bit of time lapse for like a few hours. And I was like, I finished the video before that where I was doing everything else. And I was like, at the end of that video, I was like, right, I'm going to do the doors now. Wish me luck. And stop recording because it would have just slowed it down even more.
Well, it's nice that I've got loads to ask you as well, to be honest. So, Audrey, are you all right? Are you good?
I'm good.
Yes, I can see sunshine there. I can see it. Lovely.
Oh, it's bright and it's going to be warm today.
Balmy, a nice balmy.
Balmy? I don't think so. I think maybe humid. Humid. Yesterday we had the most lovely day. It was cool. There was a breeze.
Nice.
And it was ridiculous how beautiful it was. But today we're back at the heat, so much for that. We're done with that.
A bit of heat, and it's funny how we like crave it, but then I seen who was it was saying it, a comedian? I think it was Frank Skinner was saying, like, everyone's like, "Where's this sun? Where's this sun?" And then as soon as the sun comes, it's too hot. I just can't stand it. We're locked in the houses with bloody aircon on because it's too bad, man.
Well, I do think the sun is stronger somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible?
Well, in Detroit it is. Mind you, must be.
We're getting battered here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jess, nice to have you. Nice to have you on. So we've got some good news, haven't we? She's itching to tell me. Come on, then. Let me know.
The polytunnel is covered.
Oh.
Yay!
I'm sending wires flying in excitement.
The cameras are getting knocked over and everything. You know what I mean? Wow. So you mentioned just in before we started that you did on the hottest day. Is it? I mean, that would have been horrific to do, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like messing inside a polytunnel, trying to fix it. The heat. It makes me dizzy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is it finished? Finished? No.
Nearly. Like,
but I mean, if it's covered, you could get stuff in.
Covered. The only thing that I haven't made is the door, but everything else is done.
Easy.
You'll
do it in no time at all. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You see that lad there? Wait on that one. That one there. Just ask him.
And a good 7 hours free, so I'll do that. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to make a 2-part door or just stick to, because like last time, I don't know if you remember, it was just like a roll down with Velcro. But obviously, I'm guessing, like rats are pretty good at getting through things, and I reckon they'd be able to get through that, even though that's not really the problem. I just don't want them coming up inside. So I think I'm going to have 2 doors. I'm going to still have the roll down with the plastic, but I'm probably going to have an Enviromesh, like proper closey as well. Proper closey, that's,
The
like
neighbours,
technical term.
yeah, closey. The
Yeah.
neighbours, Jess, over the next allotment have got that. I don't know if you've had the same, but it's a door that's got the Velcro, and you just kind of roll it up. It's like a proper
Yeah.
bought polytunnel, and it's just.
Oh, really?
And I just sometimes think, oh, that's dead easy, because my door's a bit like what JB's trying to put together. Do you know what I mean? It's like on a good day it'll shut, but on a wet day it ain't shutting. Do you know what I mean? You get your shoulder in there, and
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, my roll down door previously that I've had has worked brilliantly, and I have a bar on the bottom of it that hooks under. So I've got like 2 hooks at the bottom, so you just pull it down and hook it, and it does stay closed. And to be fair, that's not where the rats were coming in. The rats were just like digging straight under and coming up in the middle.
Velcro or steel, they're still getting in if they're going to just dig under. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've solved the digging under problem now. So, she says with enormous confidence. Yeah, but yeah. So we've got a polytunnel basically, which is the main thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Could you put stuff in now, Jack? I know you've got your door, but is your product?
Oh yeah, so I've got it all. I've got it all strung.
No, that's not what I'm asking. It's not what I'm asking.
Oh, sorry.
Is it?
Sorry.
Are they suitable to go up to the polytunnel? Yet your veg.
Well, they're all in the building next door. They're just sat there watching me slowly build the polytunnel. Like, will you just hurry up, please? They don't have to sort of go anywhere. They're just moving about 6 foot.
Right.
They're beating on the glass.
Let us out. Exactly that.
Let us
Yeah.
out.
So they're going in. They're going in tomorrow, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Mind you,
Jess,
my 2 doors are open now, full time. Do you know what I mean? I daresn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it'll catch you out. So. Right. While we're here, then I'd just like to say hello to our live studio audience. Hello. We've got Ashley, Alison, Alec. We did have a Allotted Chef, but I think I accidentally kicked them out. Yeah, so
hang on, does everybody begin with A? Have
I
we
know
got
that's quite
Alison
that's
and
incredible.
Ashley and Alec?
So yes,
Was it?
I'm not sure. That's
a funny
quite
little fluke, isn't it?
yes. What's this?
The A team.
So if you want to come in to watch it, and actually,
And Anne. Okay, we now have Anne as well.
Oh.
So it is an A day.
Maybe Tony's ticked the wrong option on the software, and only people whose name begin with A are allowed to chat.
Just the A's are coming through. That's not right. Someone's just putting now. Everyone's just going to come in with a false name. That's bizarre.
Yeah,
Look at the Allotted Chef. Everyone's
awesome.
here.
That's hilarious.
That is wild. Shall I do the ad read while you look at your settings, Tony?
Yes, please, JB, please.
So a massive thank you, as always, to VegPlotter, who are sponsoring today's show again. Do you need help organising and keeping on top of your vegetable garden? VegPlotter.com is here to make garden management a breeze with their top-rated planning tools. Explore the benefits of companion planting with VegPlotter.com, where you can position your plants to support each other's growth and deter pests naturally. The intuitive interface simplifies garden planning for gardeners of all levels. Join the thousands of gardeners who trust VegPlotter.com. Start your free plan today and discover why they're the go-to solution for creating vibrant, productive gardens. And if you like the software, it's your last chance today to use code POTTY20 for 20% off.
20% off's quite a good deal, mind, isn't it? When you
pretty good.
You know what I mean? That's I had a deal come through for what was it? And it was 5%. And I worked and I went, God, it's harder to get that. You know what I mean? It was like a big email. It must have cost them more just for someone to send it. than the 5% that they were giving away at the end. So yes, 20% is quite good. And mind you, I'm
Very
all
generous.
for it now that we've talked about this. I'm a changed man. I was looking
Your
at my cabbages today.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Do you know what I mean? You could just put 2 in that bed, but when you put them in when they're little, you're on. It's so hard to think. Do you know what I mean they're never going to fill a bed? I'm wasting a full bed on 2 bloody red cabbages. They are looking good, mind you. Did anyone else see?
I did,
I
yeah.
tell you what, mind you, the quality. Hannah should have had them down at the bloody BBC, for display purposes.
Did you see my recent video? I went and did a tour of one of my neighbours because their cabbages look like yours, and I was so impressed.
I did. Was it a green one? That was like a huge looking.
Yeah. They're a little bit further along than yours, but similar size.
Well, Jay, but honestly,
Couldn't believe it.
I've had that before. Like, how can that over the fence work? It's the same soil. Do you know what I mean? And like, because I didn't show I didn't show a little cauliflower. Like, there was one that was the size of a. It had went to seed, but it was the size of a little golf ball. So I showed the one that went to seed, which was a big football. It went to seed. I missed it, but this little thing was a golf. How does it work? Someone give us the answer. Do you know what I mean? It's like years of trying, and I still kind of bloody work it out. So, any gossip, Audrey? Like garden gossip that's been happening, or?
Garden gossip. I don't think I'm that deep into the gardening community.
Well, no,
to get any gossip out of
I'm
it.
meaning from you. You know what I mean? Are you doing any? You know what I mean? It's just it's a kind of TV kind of hint for you to talk.
Okay. So underneath, I thought I had figured out the Brassica problem. Grew broccoli beautifully. Then I put it on my kale and cabbage. And what was inside my little green covering yesterday? 5 white butterflies.
What's the bloody point?
Inside. Yeah. Laying all of their beautiful children on
them eggs are there now, Audrey.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, one of them had caterpillars. And I think, actually, I put it in with caterpillar or eggs on it and didn't realize it. Because there was nothing going in there. But I put them out to harden them off to, outside conditions. And I think those little buggers laid eggs on them when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I tucked them in nice and cozy. And
free from predators, nothing could get them.
They ate all my kale down to nothing. Luckily, there were a couple purple cabbage in there, which they don't seem to like as much.
No, that's good.
So I opened it up and said, you're all on your own. I'm about done trying to grow a cabbage in my own backyard.
Man.
So that was my feeling today. Was nope.
But it's funny, Audrey. I was like, how you sometimes you get like in another world and like distracted almost, because I was looking at these bloody red cabbages and I thought they're looking too big now for these nets. I'll just let them out, man. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, just like sunk in, just like the bloody butterflies will just like, the slugs and snails that might be too big for and too strong for the slugs and snails, but the butterflies will just like cover them in eggs. And I was like, so I didn't.
I do find they don't like the red brassicas as much as they like the green ones.
Right. So on that note, then, Audrey, shall I take off my netting?
Oh, I would never say yes to that. I would say
the back pedal.
I would never say take it off. I did because I was just frustrated. I thought, kind of screw it, I'm done. But on your case, I would say build a bigger cage.
I think that's very good advice.
To be honest, I know I just lifted.
Although it's a lot of work for 4 cabbages. Come on.
I know.
Let's face it. That's a lot of work for 4 cabbages.
So
you need to get 8 in there next time.
Here's the thing then, Audrey. What would happen if I just left it like that, because I'd still get
Well,
a ball. The leaves would kind of be a bit
Well, I think if the leaves are touching the netting, they're gonna lay their eggs right
They'll
there.
just
Aye.
lay right on
They-
it.
Yeah, and you're just as screwed as if you left it open. So
They might have already done it actually if they're pressing right up against it.
exactly, they'll get in any way they can.
I
I'm
wanna
sorry,
see-
Tony. I didn't mean to make
quarters
you
there.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking quarters.
Next video, Tony, I want to see you with the magnifying glass looking at those leaves.
I'll be gutted, mind you,
Checking
because
them
the
over.
leaves are lovely.
Yeah, it's so clean, isn't it? It's
Mhm,
like you said, pristine.
Yeah. So I think they're doing better, but if they're getting bigger, then I say
Mhm.
you build up, sir.
Build up, yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
And
funny,
you do great DIYs. If nothing else, it's great video.
Well, I think we've got a new contender now for, you know what I mean?
I've still got to do a second door, so I might record that. I
This
haven't
was-
actually
this was
done
nearly
the
11 hours
mesh
doing
yet.
one door.
No. No. The first
Click twice,
the first
measure
bit-
once, right?
Yeah, the first bit wasn't on the door. Oh dear. You'll get to see it. You'll get to see it at some point when I film the second.
Jess, are you're pretty handy. You don't mess on as much as JB and stuff like that.
I think JB's rather more precise than I am. I
But
I
yours
just want a
fit.
door. I want a door that's strong and it fits and does the job, and I will just put one together. Like, not. I won't be shaving bits off the side of it to allow for expansion in the winter, etc.
Get it up. It's done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Even if I'm just screwing it on and screwing it off again to get in, like, I won't be doing precise.
So yeah, I do go to that school, Jess. That's my school. And
Yeah.
If it doesn't fix, just a bigger screw. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's a bigger screw. That's it. It's fixed. Do you know what I mean?
No, I am always scared when you're doing a DIY that you're going to take off a finger.
He nearly did in his last video, eh?
Lizzie. Yeah,
Yeah.
look at this one. That was just cutting bloody tomato
Yeah.
leaves.
I've never been so tense watching a gardening video because you see the title and the thumbnail, and then you get to the part of the video when you've got the scissors out and you're about to start on the tomatoes, and it's just there like, oh god, no, he's gonna do it.
Yeah, I
had
would
to
have
look
trouble
away.
letting you leave the house with sharp objects.
I've got to ask Mummy if I can have the scissors for the day. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of.
Exactly. She'll give you the kitty scissors. These
Someone
will work.
mentioned straight away in my comments on that video that word can't remember exactly, but I would not let my husband use my material cutting Visca scissors on plants. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
yes, but
Fabric
Yeah.
scissors are like a thing, and you don't use them on anything but fabric. Yeah, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Audrey, honestly, like you say, the cut. Do you know what I mean? Obviously.
They do. That's the point. You want them to keep cutting like that.
Well, you know
But
why?
maybe
Though?
you
You
just
know why I
bought some
did it?
good garden. You got them for the garden, right?
Yeah, I do.
Or
Yes.
did you
I
take
mean,
them
I
from
know
Melanie?
that
Okay.
I didn't know they were specifically material. These ones were like apparently like a draper scissor or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
they were so good. But I've got a technique for taking them tomato leaves off, and I just go normally the opposite way, and they just click off. You know what I mean? Because I've been like thinning out the tomato
Yeah,
leaves at the
yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
They just. But I'm so paranoid now because Jesse, you know, them Rebel Starfighter ones are looking fantastic. Honestly, I'll be honest, and I don't want to. I'd rather cut myself another time, just once though, than lose a thingy of tomatoes. You know what I mean? I just cannot. I don't want to. And I normally kind
That's
of.
some strong feeling.
Oh, I would be good if I kind of cut like a what you call it of
Truss off.
you truss off of Rebel Staff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would be just like, fuck's sake. And I've done it so many times. Do you know what I mean?
It's
Is,
easy done.
is anyone growing a Tim's Taste of Paradise?
Me?
No.
Okay.
No.
Mine's dead.
No!
Yep. All
I'm
my
the last hope for Tim.
all my plants made it except Tim.
Really?
I
What
don't know.
happened
I
to
don't know. I think something broke it off. just because it was there, and of course it's the only tomato that I really, really, really want to grow this year.
Oh yeah, that's the one that's going to get got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm tempted to put some seeds in just to see what happens. I'd love to just get one, so I can taste it, and yeah. So I think I might. It's so hot. I feel like it would
Well,
scramble.
I'm gonna, Audrey. I'm
give it a
keeping them
go.
for next year. I'm sure they're on this desk somewhere still with your card. Do you know what I mean?
I did mine quite late, so it's my smallest tomato right at the end of the polytunnel, and it's in the ground, but it's still only this big. The rest are shooting up. Little Tim.
Well, he's not. He's not. He's kind of a wiry plant. Reminds me a little bit of Brad's because it's not. The other ones are lush and have a strong stem. He was a little dude, but somebody took him out. So, yeah. Well, we're looking forward to a taste test then, JB.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll have to work on your descriptors.
It's tricky. I did that. I did a video last year on tasting tomatoes, and I found that I ran out of words very quickly describing, this one's very tomatoey. Yeah, it's tricky. But I am looking forward to that. I had exactly the same thing, though. The one plant one of the plants I really wanted to try was the one that you sent, Jessie, the Sart relays.
Oh, yeah.
And I planted it in the ground. It all looked fine. And then at the end of the day, I realized I completely snapped it after planting it in the ground, just taking it off at some point somehow. I think like moving stuff around the greenhouse or something. It's still got a tiny little shoot.
It's got
just come out, a new side shoot, but it might get slugged.
Mind you, tomatoes are almost like bulletproof.
They're like
again,
Terminator.
That's why the scissors. That's why the cut. I was doing it the first time the bottom leaves. And it just, like my method didn't work. I was trying to click the leaf off and it just pulled and it split the whole stem, but it's still away. Do you know what I mean? It's still, I mean, it's like, it's a thread that's connecting the root to the actual plant and it's still going good.
Yeah.
Still going good.
I've got a whole load of little tiny crocini bushes because they were at the front. And they all got slugged to the point where you could barely see that there was anything in the pot. But I thought, you know what tomatoes are like? I'll just leave them. And they've just grown like that. Mm-hmm. It's just like a completely spherical ball of tomato now that's like come out the top of it. So I'm going to have to, as soon as they get a bit bigger, I'm going to have to kind of try and tease something out of it because it's not growable like that. They're amazing. I mean, literally, like there wasn't even... like a leaf joint or anything. It was just stem and it still grew. So
wow,
impressive.
Nice. We've got a question from Alison in the chat, Tony.
Question. Is this the runner bean?
No, before that they just you've got a little
all right.
Money object.
Amazing.
Well, we'll go at this one first. Runner beans. Alison was asking. I've only got it set on 10 seconds. What was Alison? I'll show it again.
Yeah, I like this question.
Runner beans. I think I am. I think they mine are runner beans. Mine covered in flowers, but the drop off and never set beans.
Yeah, I'm no runner bean expert, but I had a one of my allotment names. A little bit of a tangent, but. One of my allotment neighbours once told me about one of his friends who was like a commercial grower or starting to try and get into like a bit of market gardening. And they had a bright idea to do runner beans in their polytunnel, like heated polytunnel. Really, Jessie knows where this is going. Really early. But it causes massive issues with pollination. And he had exactly the same thing where none of the flowers were getting pollinated and they all dropped off. So I wonder if it could be a pollination issue.
But I've actually seen YouTubers. I'm sure I've seen. And I used to watch them all the time when I was learning. Steve Seaside.
Yes.
Seaside Allotment. Yeah.
Allotment. Is that? Well, Steve, I'm sure because he has loads of different things, and I'm sure he had it in a big bucket, and it went.
He does actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that in his greenhouse.
You know what I mean? So there might be like little tips he's doing.
Well,
I could see him going around with
a. I could see him doing that too, because he likes them early. So I could see him do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know that it is often it's a temperature problem with the runner beans dropping their flowers.
Too cold, too hot.
Too hot.
Oh, could be that.
When they get
That would
too
make
hot, they
sense.
just drop the flower before they've
Oh,
even
well,
had a
then
chance
that,
to be
Jess,
pollinated.
that would, because when I watched, I also remember Steve doing that, and it was late on. You know, it was like a late on crop, so there might not have been the heat there.
Yeah.
Mind you, I tell you, that's a similar thing to my cucumbers. So I got 2 pickings of must have been about 15 cucumbers each pick. But then every
Yeah.
other one has just withered and dried off. And I don't know if it's heat or all the goodness was going into them 15, but which seems quite you know what I mean? But I've kind of just took all bottom leaves off now, you know what I mean? And we've just got
Yeah.
a nice head, and hopefully they'll kind of come back. But
Now, in the UK, are runner beans one kind of bean, or are they anything that's a pole bean?
Oh,
No, a
that's
runner
good
bean is
question.
a specific type of
Okay.
bean.
Okay.
So you got all sorts of climbing beans,
Right.
and then a runner is a specific one. But you
Okay.
get lots of different types of runner beans. But
Right.
it's not a runner as in the description of it
Yeah.
growing up.
Okay. Yeah, I used to grow a scarlet runner bean,
Yeah.
and it put off beautiful red flowers. I grew it for the flowers because I thought they were so pretty.
I've actually just gone back to red beet for that reason. There was a whole load of different, because the bean seeds are black with a
Right, speckles on them. Yeah.
with a mauve speckling on them.
Yes.
So you can eat runner beans as a dried bean, the
Right.
interiors, but when they're that color, when you cook them, they go like a puce kind of color. It's really rank. So you tend to grow white seeded runner beans for drying. So there's Lady Diana and Moonlight and all of those, and also Greek gigantes are a type of runner bean.
Okay, I'm growing those this year.
Yeah, they're just like a fat malformed.
They're
runner
huge,
bean.
yeah. Huge bean.
So they all are, they're all good for drying
So-
beans. But I've just gone back to the scarlet flowered ones purely because it's such an iconic, that big, mass of. There's Scarlet Emperor was the real classic old one with the orange.
Gorgeous
They're
beans.
so beautiful.
Jess, what you're saying there, did I pick that up right? That you grow a certain type of bean to look aesthetically pleasing on the plate after it's cooked?
Well, no, I mean in the sense that runner beans in general, you can use them as a drying bean. A drying bean to then cook later on in soups or whatever. But the problem with the normal runner beans, so the scarlet flowered runner beans have these black and purple speckled beans, which look gorgeous. But the moment you cook them, they don't keep any of that patterning. They just go really grim, like a grey colour that's not that nice. You can get the same sort of flavour, but on a white bean from the same plant, if you see what I mean.
Have I lost you all there? Oh, trying to reconnect.
No.
There.
We've
no,
not
that's
lost
all
you.
right. We're going for a quick. Can you hear us? Hello.
We're all good. We're all good. We never lost you, Tony.
Right.
But yeah, talking about losing the flowers on the beans. Are they in a particularly hot spot? Would be my question, because that's the only time I've ever had real problems with them dropping. Even before they've got to the stage of really being pollinated, they just all fall off. Is heat. That just kind of depends where they are. Maybe they're in a cool spot, and then that wouldn't be the issue.
Yeah. I had no idea that you could grow them on and keep them as actual drying beans. I've always thought of runner beans as just, you eat pod and all. And I've never enjoyed runner beans, so I've never grown them.
Do you have a runner bean slicer?
No, Jesse, funnily, that's someone who doesn't eat or grow them. What is a runner bean slicer?
Well,
I'm
I can
Googling
tell
that
you
immediately.
that will be the reason that you don't like runner beans if you don't have a runner bean slicer.
Oh,
so I've
got... have you not got? He's Googling it already. You know what I mean?
No.
This is preposterous.
No, it makes such a difference. I can't say, runner beans, they're quite wide and flat, and you've got to slice them, and they're diagonal shaped. And I really don't like runner beans done like that. They're just awful, and they've got a hairy, tough outside, and they're grim.
Yeah.
Runner bean slicer is where it's at, and I've got a really old-fashioned one. I've got one of the new modern ones, which is if you're looking at them, JB, they're like a plastic thing like this, with a little blade on it that you nick the end off, and then you force them through, and it does really long, shredded long ways.
Yeah.
And then you just cut them up and eat them like that, and they are to die for. But I've actually got like an old metal thing that you attach to the side of the table and you feed them in, and it's got like a big windy and it shreds the run, like a really old one.
Right.
And that's what we used to use before we discovered this newfangled like tiny little device. And
That's incredible.
if you don't have that in your life, that is why you don't appreciate the joy of a runner bean. Seriously.
Here you go. I'm putting it on the list. 2025 year of the runner bean.
Do it.
There it is.
Do it.
So, Jess, after you've shredded them, how you cooking these shredded? Are you still just like steaming?
A little bit. Just a little bit of water, not too much, in a pan, and boil them until they're just
Right.
tender, and then a bit of salt and butter over the top of it, and you
I
actually can't get anything better. Like, they are incredible. Because also when you
Wow.
won't do that. When you when you're forcing the raw bean through the raw bean slicer, sorry, it also takes off the edges. You know, the bits where you've got the string on them. It just cleans them up completely, and they're perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Even for that, though, I'm going to buy one just for that. You know, where you kind of put the bean right in. You know what I mean? Thank you, Jess. Imagine if I was a producer at the BBC and that just happened. It'd be like committed. You know what I mean, get her off. Get her off.
Oh my goodness.
Have you found them on like Amazon? Is there such a thing as or is Jess just kind of doing an
Yeah,
earful?
yeah. There's loads. I haven't
What's
found
the-
exactly the one that Jess is
what's
talking
the
about, the
price?
newfangled one.
Let me have a little
Pretty
looky
cheap.
here.
Less than a tenner.
Bean slicer.
Tony's already ordering it.
I've never heard of it, to be honest. I do exactly what Jess says, though. You cut the ends off and then you do like the triangle kind of slice.
I don't like the texture of them like that. They squeak when you
Yeah.
bite into them, and it's horrid.
That just unlocked a memory that I'd like suppressed, you know? It's like, oh my god, yeah, you're right. Squeaky. Oh. Ugh.
So is this?
Yeah, no, but honestly,
So is this cutting it like a spaghetti then, Jess?
yeah, like long. So
So it looks like a bit of spaghetti, green spaghetti.
sort of, but like long. It's cut lengthways, basically, like it's been julienned, you know, like
Right.
long, and it's really, but it just totally, because it's the outside of the bean where you get like the squeak, and so it cuts it into these really fine. So you get, oh, my video keeps saying it's gone. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Your video has...
You're frozen a little bit.
Yeah,
There you
there
go.
you go. You're back.
There you
Back
go.
up.
Yeah, so
Smiling
it cuts
at
the long
it
way.
normally doesn't work, mind you, Jess. Smiling at the camera doesn't like normally kick it back into.
Well, it worked when I was trying to get the camera to focus, didn't it? But yeah, so you don't get that squeak. So you don't get that, like, where your teeth are hitting the slightly like tough furry. Sorry, I know that's upsetting. The tough furry outside. It's like you don't get any of
Well,
that.
isn't
nonsense.
it still tough and furry?
No,
It's
I
just
don't
in
know what
slices?
happens. There's some
Okay.
like transmutation.
Some magic happens, Audrey.
Well, I have never thought to
love
eat a
them.
runner bean like fresh, ever.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to, I guess, try that.
Well, I tell you what, when you just type in runner bean slicer on Amazon, like the first 3 that come up are white. You know, like they look like a funny little device. I'll put a thingy up afterwards. That's the one you want. I've tried lots of other different types that don't work, but that is the absolute peak
Right.
of them. Already
Yeah.
gone. I'm not sponsored by runner bean.
I was about to say.
by the way.
Today's show is
Runner
sponsored by
bean sounds
Runner
great.
Bean Slicer Limited.
JB, I was
Amazing.
going to ask you
Hello.
about chilies.
Oh, it's been a while.
How I'm thinking, because labelling's all went pear-shaped this year. I was writing to my little labeller, the sun doesn't work. The sun's knocked all the kind of, so I haven't got a clue if I'm batting or
Oh,
balling with
no.
anything. But I think the ones that are fruiting now, and it's exactly what, like the early fruits are jalapenos, but they're green. So how can I tell a ripe green jalapeno?
Well, so this is the thing, right? Because whenever you see jalapenos, they're always green, like on
Mhm.
pizzas or in jars or whatever. They ripen red, Tony.
Right.
So green jalapenos, they just haven't ripened yet. That's just how they're farmed and how they're sold.
Right.
Partly because they still taste pretty good. Everyone just moved around. That did ever
Yeah.
never mind. But if you let them ripen to red, delicious. I did that once, and now I can't have a green jalapeno.
All
Because
right.
I'm just like, the red ones are so much sweeter. They just
What-
develop that sweet, juicy
JB.
goodness.
Melanie my wife gets these red, and I guess they're from Aldi or somewhere, like a red chili in like a chili jar, a jar of chilies. That freaking light keeps coming on as well. What's going on? My light
You
keeps
got a
like
disco.
That's me science fiction when I do the science fiction show. That's the colour of me branding for the what's going on. But they're like a sweet one. So I wonder if they're jalapenos, like in a sweet, like. So do
Maybe
you
you still get
recommend?
the-
Do you recommend just leaving them then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you can take some green ones now if you want some early ones, but I leave them to go red and see what you think. Leave a few
Right.
and see if you prefer it.
Right.
Because I do. I've got some growing this year. It's first year I've actually got a nice looking jalapeno bush. For some reason, I've always struggled to grow them. They're like my one nemesis chili. Everything else will grow fine, but jalapenos, no. I've had like a few tiny harvests over the years.
Audrey, how's Chili World over there in Detroit?
Really good. I put one of my covers that I got for my brassicas that were done. I put them over my chilies because some pest, I think it was a rabbit, was eating the leaves, which I've never had that happen. But something was eating the leaves, and I thought, oh, no, we're not going to go here too. So I put the green cover over it, and they're doing great. They're actually putting on some size. And I can take that off at some point. I'm just letting them be tucked in for a little bit so I get some kind of harvest.
Right.
Nice.
But I was very discouraged. This has been a very challenging year. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to keep my chin up,
It's been a challenging recording because I've just got a sign there saying Jesse at plot 37 browser is preventing recording. Ask Jesse at plot 37 to refresh our page.
Oh God!
I'm coming back.
Fingers crossed. Will she come back in?
But actually, it's still just records.
That was quick.
There we go, Jess. There we go.
Nice and quick.
Am I back?
Yes,
Back in
yes,
the room.
yes.
Back.
And actually, it'll all just be put when we do it, kind of jiggled around so we're in the same positions. Jess,
Yeah.
you're frozen again for me.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
It's back.
What? Right,
Rejoice.
I'm gonna.
Always
Rejoice.
something, isn't there? Always something.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
you're
keep
moving
them-
now.
I'm going to keep them as red then, JB. I didn't. That's quite unusual because I never even thought you. And I always just thought your jalapenos were green.
Yeah,
They're just
no,
not right.
they're just.
Aye.
It's the same with bell peppers. Exactly the same with the green bell pepper in the store. It's just picked early.
Right. Bloody hell. You learn something every day. Audrey, how is your chilies? I know we've just asked them, but I will you be able to pick some? Do you think this year or
Oh, I'm sure I will.
right?
Because they're definitely putting on some size, and as soon as I see flowers, that little cover's coming off.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst pepper year I've ever had, but they're starting to look okay. So I'm, we're long enough and hot enough that I think I'll get plenty for us.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a little sauce, get it off to my kids in California. So
Remember
we'll
at
be
the
fine.
beginning of the year? Remember at the beginning of the year, Audrey had far too much and not even going to bother. Not even have far too much, but now,
I know. Well, I'm not. I didn't think anything was going to attack them, and then something was eating them, and I thought, oh Lord God, come on. So
it's not deer, is it? Did you actually see the rabbits?
Oh, it's not. We don't have deer this close.
Oh, very good.
A coyote maybe, but not a deer. They come over from Canada occasionally in the winter.
Mm.
When the lake ice is over, they just walk over from Windsor and go, "We're here."
That's understandable.
So all the little
Yeah.
purse dogs have to go inside
Yeah.
because they will just take those out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
JB, what do you think has done the damage in your?
I think it's got to be like rodenty, mouse or rat. But then I
Surely a
saw
mouse would be kind of mouse. That's chopping trees down for a mouse. Do you know what I mean?
well, they could just if they're. I don't know because it looks like the branches have kind of snapped off the main stem, and at first I thought, oh, maybe a bird has got in there and landed on it, and the weight of the bird has done it. I think if you were a rat, you'd probably have enough weight to break that stem. A mouse probably wouldn't, but I just thought maybe they'd chewed through that bit of stem. Is that the sort of thing that do they chew through?
Have you seen a squirrel around anywhere?
Yeah, it could be squirrels.
Because
Squirrels
squirrels snap everything. They're a bit like wood pigeons. A wood pigeon thinks it's a blooming wren, you know, and it sits on a branch, so it's got no hope of holding it. And it was squirrels. I find are the same, swinging off stuff and Whereas rats and mice, I think they tend to they have better judgment of what's going to be able to hold their weight. Squirrels just everything collapses.
The weirdest thing was that none of the peppers were eaten or even nibbled, and there were some that were pretty much ripe. There was a ripe one on there, and I know mice will eat them sometimes, not often, but I had some damage on the ones in my quad grow in the greenhouse last year. But there was none of that, and there was some really weird damage on some right at the back of the tunnel, but that was quite high up, and it wasn't snapped. It looked like the leaves had been. I don't know. I have literally no idea what it is. I set the trail cam up for a little while, and I might put it back up in there just to see. But it could be anything.
Jess, have you stopped your trail cam? Because I know you were having some fantastic results with it.
Well, the fox is gone. It's moved out, which is handy. But interestingly, we've got a lot of plots on our site which are essentially abandoned, but people are refusing to give up their contracts. So it's in a bit of like stalemate, you know, trying to move them on. Move them on to the next thing. I think it's a problem across most allotment sites, like particularly council-run ones, because they're not going to take you to court, are they? Like, it's so expensive to try and actually get you off the site. But it's resulted in us having quite a few plots which are like well above head height in brambles and bindweed, etc. Just like big chunks. And so the council have actually decided that they're going to, if they can get anybody that they can get off the list, off the contract, they're going to come in and just trim the whole lot, like scorched earth it basically. But they can't do it at the moment because we've got so many badgers on site and they're protected. They need to get in and check which holes are fox holes and which holes are badger holes, so they know which plots they can take the foliage down in. So the council, tree man and the badger protection people have put cameras all over the site to see which holes are foxes and which holes are badger holes, so that they can see which ones to take out, which is it's going to be quite interesting. Actually, she's going to let me know what the results of that were. So, but my fox has cleared off, which is handy.
I wish mine would.
Is your allotment council
do the tennis ball, JB? Seriously, it did work.
What's
remind me? I'm like very vague recollection.
No, soaking a tennis ball in either citronella or peppermint oil, and then you put the tennis ball down the hole and then cover the hole up.
Oh.
And it goes down the hole and they can't get rid of it because it's the ball and they can't put it in their mouth. And then they clear off and go and make a new house. It doesn't harm them. It
blimey.
I mean, if they were
We've got so many.
If there was, if it was somewhere that they weren't actually causing specific damage, but they were so close to the chicken house, like I really needed to get them to move off. And they have gone.
Ingenious method, mind you, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, who's ever thought that? You know what I mean? It's just like, because they're not going to pick it up and they can't roll it up a hill.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clever.
So it goes down and then it's kind of just stuck in there, and you can, and even like the smell of it, even after we'd covered it over, it was so strong. Like there would have been some eyes watering in that foxhole, I can tell you.
So, Jess, is yours under threat of getting you getting booted off that allotment?
No.
Is yours not council then?
Yeah,
So
but
how?
I look after my allotment.
All right. So sorry. So it's no. So it's not like a
What
council
are you
one.
saying, Tony?
It's a very tiny allotment. I don't know why that would even be on a list.
No, I'm just wondering when you were saying people they're getting booted off. They're getting booted off because they're not looking after
Yeah,
them.
so we've got a lot of. I mean, we're quite a small site. There's only 48 allotments on there, like full size allotments, and they've been split. So there's more people than that, but that was the original size. And I'd say at least 6 or 8 full size allotments are overhead height with brambles, but that they can't re-let them to other people because they're having trouble
I missed,
getting people.
Jess, I missed that. I was under the impression there when you were talking that your council was coming in and clearing people off to build houses or whatever.
No, just people who are holding on to their allotments because they think I'll have time next year or I'll have time, when this happens, which is understandable. Like it takes so long to get an allotment. Once you've got one, you really don't want to give it up. But it's a bit frustrating for everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have a new neighbor yet, Tony?
No. I mean, I guess they've got it for the year. Do you know what I mean? So whether they'll take out another.
That's just sad.
No.
How that looks.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take. You know what I mean? It would take an hour or so just to strim it. You know what I mean? Like hire a strimmer, just strim it right, scorched earth, just cover 3/4 of it with plastic or whatever, cardboard or whatever. Forget about that, and then you've got a little garden to work on. It wouldn't take kind of anything. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it's Charlie Dowden's the one that cover your good bit what you want with cardboard, compost, and grow pumpkins or whatever for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So it's like, but. I don't know. You know what I mean? And the lad that was the kind of our overseer or our, council, he's gone. He's left. And apparently it's a brutal job. I was talking to we don't get skips now. We get wagons. We get 2 wagons, like pickup wagons a year for all like the rubbish. And he was telling us that it's a god awful job. He says this site's lovely. He says it's a lovely little village site. He says you go to some, they've got fighting dogs on. He says that's just horrific. He says we go and like pick up the rubbish, which you think would be like bags of like allotment rubbish. He says I'm picking up full bathroom suites. I'm picking up like 30 like double glazed windows. Do you know what I mean? He says it's just horrific. He says it's like and whoever runs the council's got to kind of sort it all out. He says there's even rumours or there's even ones where folks are selling them to like other so you pay like £100 a year, you've got your allotment, but you don't go there, you just sell it to someone for £5,000 and you pay £100. He says, how do you work that? You know what I mean? It's just like some of the stories you're hearing. And this is like, I guess this is happening all over. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he says when we rock up, he says to pick up like normal allotment rubbish, he says there's stuff in there just horrific sometimes.
Wow.
So, I think Detroit's got problems. You want to come to Whitburn, or you think Detroit has problems?
It's ugly over there, I hear.
We've lost Jess again there. I wonder what's going on.
Is that enough?
Browser.
Now you think how much work it is to take things from like your bathroom at home and bring it down to your allotment so that they'll pick it up. I just think be a little more creative if that's what you're doing. You're already moving it.
Mind you, we've got our now council seems to be kind of failing miserably. We've got now we don't recycle. They've stopped collecting the recycle stuff. They went on strike and they're off strike there now. They were on strike from for weeks and weeks and weeks before Christmas. That's all sorted, but we've got like letters or emails or on the website. We're not collecting like recyclable stuff now. So it's like, what do you do with it? And it's like it's brutally hard to kind of throw away your glass jars. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like
Yeah.
they don't recycle, and I don't know if it's going to come back or not. But anyway, enough of the politics. JB, what? Anything else? What?
I
you
was going to
should-
talk about. Here's a weird thing. So
Go on.
peas, right? We were saying the other day that it's been a really good year for peas, and I did 2 varieties this year. One were alderman, which are really tall podding pea, really nice. Had some of the peas. You know, you split them, you take the pods, very nice. You take them out of the pods, very nice. And the other one is a mystery one, and I was trying to figure out if I'd grown a Monge 2 that had gone over, or a snap pea, or a podding pea, or anything like that. And I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, I think they were sugar snap peas, right? But it was like a lottery. Some of the snap peas tasted like incredible, you know, like sugar snap really lived up to the name. Absolutely gorgeous, really sweet to die for, so fresh. Others that looked exactly the same, around the same size, bitter, horrible, gross, disgusting, wanted to throw up, etc. What is that all about? Has anyone ever had that? Because I thought maybe I just let those go too long, so I was taking some of the younger ones, and actually the smaller ones that were like they looked a bit more like Monge 2, I guess. They were the worst. They tasted the absolute worst, like really, really bitter.
Right? No,
I was looking at you, Jesse. I was really hoping you were going to be like, "Yeah, I know exactly what that is," but
No, I mean the only. Yeah.
I was thinking you'd mixed seeds.
It could be. It could just be a mix of seeds, and I'm trying to snack on the pod of like
maybe
an
I was thinking
Like
that
a
maybe it's a
Marifat
potted
or
pea.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it. That's a really good theory. I like that. I haven't,
I
like
know
I
that
said, I have
sounds,
no
it
idea
sounds
what
weird,
those
but
are.
I always kind of just like use the error first. Then we'll go on to
It's
kind
highly
of.
likely. I couldn't remember what those peas were at all. I know for a fact I took a video when I sowed them. I was like, they're the aldermen, they're the other thing. No idea where that video went. Just lost it in the ether. But I was really disappointed because some of them were so nice, and I was gonna like cook some up, but it was such a. Me and Jess were trying a few, and the bad ones were bad enough that it was just like we have to bin this whole batch or compost them because
Right.
otherwise you'd put them on the plate and you'd be really nervous before everyone like
Like
got
Russian
the fork is
roulette
shaking.
pea dinner.
Yeah, probably you can't put enough butter on that, can you?
Yeah,
It tastes good.
No, they were really, really
That's really
bad.
strange that it wasn't like identifiable which one was going to be bitter and which wasn't.
That's it, right?
It just seems really strange.
Yeah, that's my weird little vegetable story.
Are you
Mhm.
definitely sure? Like it was a vegetable
A
pea.
pea.
You know what I mean? Like because you can get lots of peas that are grown for like green manure and that kind of stuff. Like it was an actual eating pea. Was it?
I'm
Because some
Oh,
90% sure.
because some marifats start off really, really sweet. Like so, if I don't know,
Marifats.
you didn't cook like
Interesting.
a stewing pea instead of a fresh podding pea.
Don't think so. Don't
Go
think
find
so.
the video. I want to know what they
I
were.
know, yeah. I really want to know. I can't find it anywhere. I might actually have to watch back through my YouTube videos. But that's hell, isn't it? Having to watch your own videos.
That's just
So-
too
Well, are all your seeds labeled like in your seed containers things?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
there were some that I saved last year, which didn't have a label, and I'm wondering if it was those. Wondering if it's a load of saved seed that was a bit of a.
Actually, Anne's
Crapshoot.
saying, could it not be
My chat
pollinated?
doesn't scroll. Oh, I
Could it
don't
not
know. Do they make a pod if they've not been pollinated, and actually grow the peas? Because it had the peas, like the pods looked healthy, and there were peas inside them.
I would have
No idea.
thought they wouldn't have produced a
Yeah.
pod.
Mhm.
But yeah, if they were saved seed, like maybe they were. Maybe they
Maybe
were
I
just
tried to
pods.
save the seed of like an F1 or something like that, and they will come back as like weird hybrids.
Now that
I
could
don't know,
be.
but it was
well,
Yeah.
that's a good reason right there.
yeah, it could be that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Little bit thrifty, eh? Little thrifty.
Yeah. The aldermen are good though, so that's the main thing. And I had a proper We just sat in front of the TV and I was podding peas. Felt like I was in the olden days. It was great.
It's great, that, isn't it? When you've got a real good like process to do.
Yeah.
It's like shelling broad beans. I love it. It's great.
Not that one. Not for me. But yeah, no, the peas were nice. I did there's loads I blanched and put them in the freezer as well. I felt very responsible, very professional. It's very good. It's very good.
Well, we are at the top of the hour. So, yeah.
Blimey, we
Wow.
are, aren't we?
Go on, quick.
Listen to them dogs go, oh, can you
Yeah,
hear them?
letting you know.
Uh-huh.
They
I
heard you
thought they
say
were
it was
outside
the- it was
my
the
house.
hour.
Oh, my goodness.
No, you get
Yes.
on my bloody nerves. So big thank you to Veg Plotter there for the few weeks of doing the sponsor. JB, thank you as well for doing that. You know what I mean? That lovely, lovely voice. Mm. And everyone who
I've
kind
got
of
a
rocked
bright
up in
future ahead of me in
what?
advertisements.
Do you like? You know what I mean? And I'm just going to say everyone that's Anne, who's in there, the chat, Alec, Alison. We've had a
We did
anybody
get some
else?
other letters.
We
Christine,
did get a
hello,
couple of
Christine.
other
That was
letters,
nice
but
to see
not
Christine.
much.
So, well, this is the first time. So, listen, if you want to kind of join within our, oh, Philippa's there as well. I didn't see
Oh, they had a great tip actually about
a lot.
letting parsnips go over to stop blackfly on your broad beans, which is something I might try in future. So thank you.
Tell us, JB, what? So let parsnips grow too much, just waste them, kind of thing, and so they'll attract blackfly.
Yeah, leave one or two, I guess.
Right.
Or in the corners of the beds or whatever to go to seed. I think if you've got one that isn't an F1 as well, you can collect that seed and have really fresh parsnip seed. I forgot to do that last year. No, I didn't. It was an F1. And then it should deter blackfly on your broad beans.
Mine broad beans are coming. They're starting, there's like thin little pods there now. My broad beans, so not be long.
My broad beans are mullered. I have never seen a plant actually killed by blackfly before. It's really dramatic. They're completely dead.
Would
They
you
really that week I went away on holiday, just exploded.
Did you tip them? Like, did you take the tips out? How weird.
Yeah.
Would you consider then,
Obviously,
JB, like a chemical bath to kill it?
I think if I gave them quite a few like high pressure sprays just to get some of the blackfly off, but I think it was too late at that point. It just gets to the point where it's like critical mass. There's so many, and they can give birth to so many every single day. It just becomes proper infestation levels where probably the only way to get rid of it is actually a bug spray. But the problem is full of ladybirds as well, and hoverflies and other things that are going to go on to eat the pests on your other plants. So didn't really want to spray it at that point and kill all the goodies.
It's like brutal, isn't it? It's like a hard bloody hobby, this, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like...
Thankfully, I just did a very small selection of broad beans this year because I was like, it would just be nice to have a little few. So I don't really care about them getting completely hammered. If I had a full bed full, and I had plants, like broad bean plants, then I'd be heartbroken. Yeah. It's not like my chilies.
I found the blackfly was quite interesting this year in timing wise because they normally hit my field beans really badly, and then I leave the field beans in to do all the ladybird and hoverfly business. But this year they pretty much missed my field beans. The field beans had gone over and like keeled over and died before the blackfly really got hold. So I had more blackfly on my like proper broad beans this year than normal. But I've left loads of them because they were covered in ladybird larvae, tons of them, which is normally on the field beans. So
have you been picking your broad beans then, Jess? Have you?
My broad beans are finished, both sets.
Wow.
I stripped them this week actually. Stripped a lot of them. There's a couple on there that I've just kind of left in case they do something, but that bed is the bed that the outdoor tomatoes are going to go in, so I just stripped them all off and
nice,
ready to go.
It's good succession.
Now, do you use your bean slicer with those?
Not with broad beans, no.
Okay.
It's a very specific
but
runner
they
bean.
have the hairy inside too, don't they?
No,
you don't eat.
But you don't go near the hairy insides.
Okay, that's where I'm confused because broad beans have the hairy inside, and so do. Did I say broad beans? I just said that. Runner beans. They have the hairy inside too.
Have a hairy outside.
Oh, okay.
and broad beans have a hairy inside.
So what's your pole beans, Audrey? Are they not runner beans?
Well,
they're French
apparently
beans.
the Greek gigante are runner beans, but
Yeah.
I've never thought to grow a runner bean for eating fresh. I always grow those to eat as a dry bean. So
Right.
this is new for me.
So you
'Cause I
grow
thought
them
that's-
all right. I would. God, it's the other way around. For
Yeah, I've never, like I say, I'd never knew that you could do a runner bean to fruition for a drying bean.
Lots of the white, is it white? Is it haricot beans that are French beans, or is it one of the really common white beans that we eat? Is a runner bean, white runner
Right.
bean.
Cannellini.
are they the ones that Heinz
cannellini.
baked beans make?
Quite possibly, and they already come
think
in the
that's haricot.
sauce, Tony, inside the pod, which is handy.
Right. You get on the phone and get her internet cut off. Right, that's bloody right. Listen. We've had enough of this Joeville. This kind of again. If you want to support the Potty on Patreon, you come into this live little studio there now. So there's a few still in there. It's actually nice I'm scrolling to see the chat again. That's been so long since, and it's quite nice to know it's live. That's been a weird, because I didn't think I was going to go back to that kind of process. You know what I mean? But again, I've got the Valium and the gin next to us here.
Whatever it takes, Tony.
Whatever it takes for the show, eh? Action.
Right.
Jess, where can we find you?
Was that me?
Yeah?
Yeah. You can find me at Plot37 on Instagram or .com, and Jessie at Plot37 on YouTube.
Right. And will you get this internet stop freezing for us?
I will do my best.
There you go.
I suspect that Call of Duty is being played in the other room, which is zapping some of the internet. Sorry about that, chaps.
That'll do it.
JB, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at NaturallyJB on YouTube and Instagram.
There's that voice again.
I know.
It just comes. Audrey, where would we possibly find you?
Real Food Comes Dirty. YouTube, Instagram, and .com.
.com. Lovely.
Yes.
Well, Jess, JB, Audrey, thank you so much. Everybody who's in the chat, who joined with live, a huge thank you. Thank you for supporting the show as well. That is a pleasure. Thank you so much. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care. Toodle bip.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
all.